Hello once again, everybody. I'm Jake Lucci, and welcome to my video coaching newsletter. The title of today's video coaching newsletter is College Recruiting and Playing Time. I have a quote that I wrote on this topic. We'll go through that, and then afterwards we will take a look at an email that a dad submitted regarding his son and the importance of playing time, and he asked some good questions, so we'll address that as well. But before we do, let's go ahead and look at the quote, and we'll get to his email. The quote says, "The relationship between college recruiting and playing time is simple. One cannot exist without the other. You cannot be recruited if you're not playing, and if you're not playing, you cannot be recruited. When selecting a particular team to play for, too many times we focus on who the team is rather than whether or not it's the best fit for us in that moment. Worrying or even thinking about the perception of others when making important decisions during the college recruiting process can be detrimental and even devastating. If we make decisions based on ego and emotions rather than logic and reasoning, the likelihood of us taking a wrong turn increases dramatically. Assess the situation for what it is, no better and no worse, make a decision, and keep moving forward. Decisions based on playing time should be non-negotiable." I repeat that. Decisions based on playing time should be non-negotiable, and here's why. If a high school coach gives a prospect the option to play on JV every day or be a backup on varsity, more times than not, that player should choose the option to play every day, even if it means playing every day on junior varsity. It may serve his or her ego to be on the varsity team, but sitting on the bench does not get you on a college coach's radar. Simple as that. More importantly, it significantly hinders a prospect's development during the most crucial time of his or her career. In baseball, position players need at-bats, pitchers need innings, and that's just the way that it is. So, with that said, let's get to this guy's email. Let's see what he has to say. He says, "Jake, thanks for all you do for high school parents and kids trying to get recruited. Your advice has had a profound influence on my son, who is a catcher on his varsity team right now." Well, that's what I aim to do. I aim to make a difference, have a positive influence on others, and so I appreciate your kind words there. So he says, "Right now, my son is a sophomore. My question is regarding playing time and how important it really is. The coach gave my son the option to be the starting catcher on junior varsity or the backup catcher on the varsity team. Of course, he picked to be on varsity. As parents, we couldn't say no, and my son has 3 at-bats in 14 games. Well, that should tell you right there that the decision for him to be on varsity was obviously one that sounds like he made, and then as parents, you guys didn't really know what to do or what to say or how to combat that. And so you obviously let him do that, and 14 games, 3 at-bats is really not a good way to get on a college coach's radar. And like I said in the quote, it's really just not a good way to develop. I mean, if he's a sophomore in high school and he is given the option to play or to sit the bench, I think it's a no-brainer. I think he needs to play on the JV, just like I said in my quote. And the reason is because not only is he losing the opportunity to develop, but other guys are getting the opportunity to develop in his place. So since he chose to be on varsity as a catcher and the backup guy, there's obviously somebody that's playing catcher on JV. And so that kid is getting reps at bats, and he's getting playing time and getting in front of the coach's eyes. And your son is sitting on the bench. And so if I'm looking at those 2 kids as a college coach, I'm going to have a better chance of recruiting the kid that's getting playing time rather than the kid that's not. So that's just the way that it is. He says, "What would you recommend in this situation? It'd be great if you can do a video on your YouTube channel because I think this is an issue that affects a lot of people." I think you're right. I think that it does affect a lot of people, but I think that people don't realize why these decisions are important. And so I've had numerous kids that have asked me this throughout the years, and they said, I really want to be on varsity, but I don't know how much playing time I'm going to get. Or if they ask me, I really want to go to this big 4-year program, big 4-year school, but I just don't know how much playing time I'm going to get. And so my as a general rule, my recommendation is to always go where you're going to play. I think that that's really important for players because we just get so caught up in how it looks, and our egos, are like, well, my kid is on varsity. Even parents have to deal with this. My son's on varsity, and they'd much rather say that than my son is on JV. But what they don't realize is if your son's on varsity and not playing, he's doing nothing but hurting himself and feeding your ego, which is a double whammy for some not so good things to happen, quite frankly. And if you make too many of those decisions that are not good, then what you end up having is a situation on your hands where you have no options to go to college, if you would have made different decisions earlier in his or her career, such as letting him play on JV rather than varsity, you might have had a different outcome. Because if he goes on JV and he does really, really well, in the varsity, anything can happen to the varsity catcher. He could get hurt, he could not perform, he could want to switch positions, whatever the case may be, and then your kid is right there, right next up. But just because he's not, playing on that team, playing on varsity, doesn't mean he's not getting better. And if he's sitting on the bench on the varsity squad, then he's just really not getting that much better. He says, it'd be great if you can do a video on YouTube. Well, see, here you go. I'm doing a video on YouTube because I think it's an issue that affects a lot of people. What should we do? Well, if I was you, I would tell my son, not the dad. I'm not going to tell you, the dad. Say, the son, you need to go and talk to your coach and say, hey, look, I appreciate you giving me the opportunity to be on varsity, but I think that I'd much rather get playing time. And so if you feel that it's okay that if I get some playing time on JV, I'd really appreciate that. And again, I can't stress the importance of the kid going to do this, not the parent. Coaches don't want to talk with parents unless it's something that has nothing to do with what's going on in the field, or an administration issue or something like that. But for the most part, coaches want to hear from the kids. And I think that this is, honestly, I think this situation is a teaching moment for your son. I think it's a teaching moment for him to address a superior respectfully, and to give him the opportunity to be heard, but in a respectful way, so that the coach understands what his position is. And I think that a lot of times high school kids get worried about talking to their high school coach for fear of getting in trouble or for fear of making the coach mad. And for the most part, that's really just not true. I mean, coaches want their players to talk to them, and they want their players to communicate with them. And so I think that this could be a teaching moment, and so that would be my recommendation. He says, what should I tell my son so he can understand that this is the right decision? Thanks in advance. So what I would tell him is this is an opportunity for him to grow up and be a man. It's an opportunity for him to make a big boy decision, to go to his coach and say, hey, coach, I'd rather play. If it's okay with you, I understand this is your team and I appreciate it. But I think it's just a good opportunity for you to show your son how to handle the situation the right way, rather than whining, complaining, or saying life's not fair. Because this is a business. College recruiting is a business. And if you don't think so, go look at the numbers. I mean, you see what is happening with all the allegations with the NCAA right now, with college basketball and players being paid money under the table and all this different stuff. I mean, it is a business. People are going to do what they need to do in order to get the best results that they could possibly get. And so if you're a parent and you're in high school and you're kind of thinking about what to do in this college recruiting process, I highly suggest you go look at other videos that I've made. There's tons of them. I highly suggest you go see how we market and promote our prospects at Lucci Prospect Group. There's a lot of great stuff out there, and it's all free. And so you can't really say anything about, well, I just don't want to go look at it. I mean, it's videos. You can just turn it on and listen to the audio for all I care. I mean, if you look at it, great. If not, you're just hurting yourself. So with that said, he said, thanks in advance, John. So John, thanks for the email. I appreciate it. And if you'd like to get my help personally, you're more than welcome to visit us on YouTube, visit us on Facebook, or visit us at LucciProspectGroup.com and click the Contact Us tab. If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, I highly suggest you do that as well. There's a lot of great stuff on there, a lot of great videos. And our Facebook page, if you haven't liked our Facebook page, make sure you go like our Facebook page, because there's a lot of really, really cool videos and a lot of things that are promoting our prospects on there, give you a better idea of how we do business and who Lucci Prospect Group LLC really is. Thanks for watching this video coaching newsletter, and we'll talk to you guys soon.